guys. Welcome to Marquetta the Life Speakers, where we help cure those hearts. Today it's talking about I want to live to die in peace, not to die to live in peace. Okay, so let me explain to you what I'm saying. So when people die, they usually resting in peace because some of them died because of health issues, and sometimes they die because of, they got murder or something happened to where they did die, suicide or whatever that happened to them. They just died in peace. Now, I want to live to die in peace because pretty much what I'm saying is I want to live. I want to live my life now so that when I die, I don't have to be dying in peace. I live dying in peace. Either way it goes, dying in peace. I'd rather live dying in peace. So pretty much I live my life dying in peace. Because you got to think about it. It is really hard when you're struggling with all types of things and you don't know how to push forward in your life. And sometimes you're just going to have to kind of take care of yourself because sometimes the problems come because you might not really be taking care of yourself correctly. And so you try your best to kind of get where you need to go during them tough timing. So me, for example, yesterday was definitely a day to where I was just so scared as a mother, didn't know what was going on with my daughter running outside because she didn't want me to discipline her. And I still was just so angry, you know what I'm saying? And I said, I sent her off. And so when I sent her off to her stepmom's, I started to really get myself some breathing area as a mother and just started really thinking about what can I do differently. And I started to realize it's like you done all you can. All you can still do is plant those good seeds and really just make sure that your daughter does not do things that is dangerous, like running away from you outside of nowhere because she doesn't want you to discipline her. That's bad. That really is bad because then it comes to play, okay, I can't touch the child because of this. I can't. Then it starts to sound like she's the parent. So that's not what I want to do. And so I told myself, okay, this is going to be a fresh new day. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep on going. We're not going to beat up on ourselves, We're not going to always succeed, but we're going to make sure that we still have that structure and remain solid and make it known that I'm the parent. Now, in this, living your life during struggles. This is something to where this week has been about life, if you notice, because this week has been a life for me. And so I had to be strong on this to talk more and more about what I want to do for myself because I'm planning good deeds for myself, but I'm also helping other people understand this is what I had to do to get out of what I felt. If I felt like dying because things was not where I wanted to be, that's not going to work. And so my main goal in my life is to be strong. Even when I feel like I can't do it, I still tell myself that I can. But I'm just going to need some breaks. That's all. I'm going to go back and be strong. But it's okay to say, I need to take a break. If you do not take breaks, then it's going to be a huger position than you ever thought It's not saying that you're letting someone else handling it. It's saying that, you know what, I just really need a break. I just need a break. I need to reset my button, and I'm going to send my child somewhere else until I get strong enough in this area to see why she's doing this. But there could be many very reasons why people do the things they do. Kids, they do grieve differently. When you're in the grieving stage, you don't know when you're going to stop. It's different from kids than adults. So I said to myself, okay, I took her to all these places. Mommy's going to have to really, really dig deeper and do it herself the best way she can. But in order for mommy to do that, mommy's going to have to take a break. Because she has to really get herself together to understand why things are going the way she didn't plan. When you have a certain, like this, okay, you have a certain plan. It's like you're a teacher. And you have all your plans together of what you guys are going to do in the schedule and how you want it to be. And then all of a sudden, you had all these plans together of how you expect it to be. But doesn't life have its own way of changing your whole plan? So you want it to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But then A turn into B, and B turn into C, and C turn into D. And then it started being a pick and choose answer day to where you're like, wait a minute. I didn't ask for a pick and choose answer day. I asked for A, B, C, D. So that's how day is. That's how it is. And so why does things don't come the way you expect it to be? Why it won't go in the schedule? Well, for one, you're not God. And for two, you can't control people's mind. And for three, you got to understand that people like to be difficult. So when they're being difficult with you, you're like, it makes you feel so horrible because you know that you did a plan. You know that you ran around. You know you was. But that's the problem sometimes. The problem is you run around it too much. You got to be patient. When you're patient, things will come to you. Like today, I came in and it's so funny because my neighbor asked me how my daughter was doing, and I told her she got suspended, and she's like, so where she's at? I said she's over her stepmom's house. She's like, oh man. And then she told me, she's like, what are you going to do after this? I said, I am going to go pay the rent. And she talked to me and she told me, did you talk to them about lowering it down? You know what I'm saying? She said, because I know that you don't even work that many hours. And so I told her, I'm just going to handle it. I don't want to go through all these paperwork and all this stuff. She's like, no, you need to go in there and talk to them. So because she's just so worried, she's like, no, you need to go in there and talk to them. And so it's so funny. I come in there and I go and try to go pay my rent. And I had a letter on my door before I paid the rent. And the letter on the door just stated that I need to go in there and re-sign some papers. I go in there, I bring the paper in, and her name is Lucy. She says to me, she's like, yeah, we lowered down the rent. These different units here, your rent had lowered down. And so I'm sitting there like, what? So I'm like, so the rent lowered down a couple bucks. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, that's weird because my neighbor just said I need to come in here and talk to y'all because it's serious. And I'm telling her, I got it. I got it. And it was so funny because there had to be some universe there. I even thought about yesterday when my daughter ran. She ran, but she didn't go that far. She ran into one of the courtyards. And the courtyard is our old courtyard where my dad died. So when she ran, she stopped right there where he passed away. And so I'm like, okay. And I was trying to get her and everything. And then the other girl was about to get her, and she just stopped right there by his courtyard. And so I realized, like, okay, I'm trying to whoop you. You run outside. You scare me. You go all the way down here to this courtyard, and you stop. That was some type of universe. So I'm sitting there like, okay, what is going on? The girl is just, but then I started to realize, no, the girl is still hurt. She may not show it because it seemed like kids are so energetic. And it seemed like kids are just, you know, but it never hits her mind that I don't have my grandpa and I don't have my grandma. My grandma is sick and I don't have my grandpa anymore. So I'm going to mess with mommy. So in this though, you can only do the best that you can when you're raising your kids. And so I come in here and I told Lucy, she's like everybody asks about my kids around here, all of them. So Lucy said, the girls went to school today. And I told her, I said, yeah, one of them did. The other one I gave her to my friend because she's got suspended from school and I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on with her. And she told me, she's like, maybe it's your energy. Maybe mommy's not happy. She said, maybe, you're saying that she lost your dad and your mom's not around anymore. Maybe, she's following your energy. She's like, if she's grieving, that means you're still grieving too. And I cried in the office because she knew it. She's like, there's no way that mommy is, okay with what's going on. And she's like, she's only doing what mommy's doing. And I was like, I got her all the help. I'm trying to help myself. And she's like, no. See, God, she said, God was in here. He was going to make sure your energy was not going to leave like this. So she's in there talking to me. And I'm like, she gave me the hugest hug. And she wouldn't let me go. And I know me. I have not really been as lovable as I should. I've been so isolated to where I don't want to talk to no one. Been pushing everyone away. I just been like, leave me alone, not trusting anyone. It's been so hard to where I'm like, I literally was feeling bad because I just gave my daughter away, but then I'm like, no, that's not what you're doing. You knew your energy is not good for her because you're in a battle right now to where you're feeling so bad that you can't help people because you can't even help yourself. And so I'm sitting there, and as she's giving me a hug, she's like, I'm tired of doing this alone. She said, so you're going off on everybody. You're isolating yourself, and you're getting so angry. So she knew what was going on with me. And I literally burst out and cried in the office. I know, I always cry everywhere. I've been crying everywhere. I cried in a Lyft driver car. And I don't want people to catch me. But they're catching me. They're catching me. Then I'm like, Jesus, what are you doing? So you're trying to be isolated, but God's going to make sure that someone helps you. I started to realize that. Like, I don't want all that. I just want to be left alone. But then God's like, no, you're calling for help. We're going to make sure you get that help. And so that's what he did today. God made sure that I got the help that I need. And then it was so like, wow. I go into the school yesterday and the teacher even said, we already know that you're a single mama. It's kind of good that you sent her off to the dad, and the stepmom, because you're probably just burnt out. And it's like, man, is it the death? What is it? And I said, it is the death. And it is the separation. You know, you're sitting there, you're wanting answers, and you're splashing out on all the people, even the people that are good for you. You're just in your ways of where you're like, forget everybody. And you can't do that. And I started noticing that yesterday I was getting bum rushed, like friends calling me, people just calling me. My friend even yesterday told me, she's like, God loves you. And everybody just was like bum rushing me. And I'm like, what is this bum rush that people keep on telling me they love me? What is going on? And so I started to realize God wanted me to understand that even though I'm at my worst, I can't fall because there's people who's looking at me. And there's a lot. It's a lot. It's so many people that are literally on the boat like, we ain't got time for you to be foaming out the mouth. We ain't got time for you rolling over. Let's go. There's so many people just, I'm on the ground. Someone's like, we're going to get you up. So there's people lifting me up. I've even seen it. I've seen it in the dreams. My dreams are lifting me up. It's like it's showing people to where they see that I can't walk right now. And they're just walking on my behalf. I'm seeing it. In one of my dreams, I literally saw someone. I was walking those stairs alone. And they came around and just literally lifted me up. And that's what happened in the office just now. You know, lifted up. That's what just happened with Taylor. Lifted up. So you're getting lifted up all areas to where they're like, we ain't got time for this. and you're sitting there like, okay, well, my mom, my dad is not here. But there's so many spirits that it's not going to let me on the ground. Like, they're not. There's so many spirits to where I'm looking and I'm like, what is you foaming at the mouth? And Jesus is coming like, girl, get up. We ain't got time. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And you can feel the push. It's like now when you say for Christ you live, for Christ you should die, it's for real. Like you trying to foam out the mouth and someone's like, come on, let's go. We ain't got time, girl. I know it's high. Come on, let's go. It's like you really on the horseback riding where you just that horse is running for you and all you gotta do is hold on tight so you won't fall. That's what is going on with me. So I was being squeezed, but it's so crazy I didn't have to. And I'm starting to see my life come into reality. I'm seeing physical people that God is literally squeezing, pushing my way to let me know, no. Even when I be like, my mind ain't there, it's not. God is literally, he's like, he's real, okay? I don't care what nobody say. I've been like foaming out the mouth, sad in my dark areas in my life, and I've been praying so hard. So God's sitting there just smacking me around like, in this prayer, you told me that I will never leave you nor forsake you. In this prayer, you said that I put a little heavens in your heart so you will never settle. In this prayer, you continue to keep on talking to me. So now I'm answering it. Let's go. So God's just like pulling me out of the darkness now because he's like, And then I was foaming out the mouth about my daughter running away from me. But then I'm like, God didn't let her go that far. He literally stopped her. He stopped her. And it was to the point where I'm like, okay, it is some type of universe or something going on here. Look, because I'm seeing something just move. It could be from me writing to God, from me really praying and being so faithful to where I'm like, I know you said you never leave me or forsake me. I know I don't see you, but I know that you might be real. And then and God's like, okay, poof. And he started doing all of this. I was just talking about my finance. And then I even seen at my job that there was an increase in my working. Like that the money increased in my job. And so I'm sitting there and I'm even looking at this week. I'm working 3 days. So I'm like, God, what you doing? Like God literally was like, oh, you want to work? Poof, there it is. You need it. Poof, 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 poof. Like he's just like, I'm like, okay, Jesus he finna come. Because I'm starting to see everything move like quick. Like he's like, okay, all right, you saying all them things, let's move it. And I'm starting to see him move in my life. So when you see and you acknowledge that, okay, God blessed me with this apartment. God literally, I said that I was just going to stay at the apartment that my dad passed away with. He passed away at this apartment that my daughter ran down to. That's our old place. God literally, a couple of days of his death, made sure I was moved because there was a letter on my door stating that all of us had to get ready to pack up because they were going to remodel the place. They ended up remodeling our whole apartment, and then they said that they were going to move us to different courtyards. And so I ended up moving into a different courtyard so that I won't have to, walk where he actually passed away at. And so God didn't put too much on me then. Then God made sure that I was able to drive. Even though I didn't pass the test, he made sure that I had an experience of driving. Then God made sure I went to college. Then God made sure I had counseling. And then on top of that, even though my daughter is having her moments, I seen my daughter pray, and I know that my daughter didn't mean no harm. She just, when she's into herself, she's out of there. There's no talking to her. And so it's kind of like when you're angry, there's no talking to you. You won't calm down until you want to calm down. And so I started to realize as the things started coming and going, God started sending me somewhere to where even if I was on the ground, he was going to make sure that I was lifted up. I just remember when I was in the Lyft driver. And when I was in that Lyft car, I will never forget, he literally did lift me up. So he's lifting me up, other people around me lifting me up, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I am getting lifted. So I can't get on the ground because even when I'm foaming out the mouth, I can't have no time to foam out the mouth because there's work to be done. So God's looking at me and he's like, oh no, you got all these sermons going on. You talking about me and all these things. We got to go to work now. And so God's putting me into work. And so I thought about the Lyft driver. And I was in my mind. I was thinking about something to where I was really going to give up on Marquella the Life Speaker. I was going to stop. And so when I was going to stop the program of Marquella the Life Speaker, the guy just randomly started asking me all types of questions. And then that's when he started saying like, hey, you should do this in this in your business that you're trying to create, and you should do this and that in this business you're trying to create. And so he was giving me some tips, and he showed me about if I had a certain amount of views, I can even get a studio at LA, you know what I'm saying? And literally you could see how gorgeous this studio was. And so as he's talking to me, I'm getting all lifted up. And he told me, he said, no, maybe God called you to do this business. So you're not giving up. Because I told him, I said, I don't think it's good for me because everyone's telling me I should do this and that. He said, no, you need to do what God told you to do. God told you not to do something, obey his commandments. And so I said that my personal perspective was I was just going to keep my business on a blog. I felt free. I said I'm not going to share out anything no more on my Facebook because I feel like the Facebook was not for me anymore. I just felt like my stories needed to be somewhere else. And so I moved the stories to the blog. And this blog, oh my God, it felt like I was being lifted in the blog to where I was myself. Nobody was on this. But then last night, someone stayed on my page for 10 minutes. It said it. 10 minutes. They were on there. And it literally really got me. Because I'm like, they were on my page for 10 minutes. And I had messaged them, of course. They didn't say anything. But I had a visitor on there for 10 minutes on my blog. And it said that they were from Las Vegas. And so as I was like, who's on the blog for 10 minutes? And I was just shocked because this time, as I clicked, I catch this person. And usually my automatic system will just let me know that someone's there, you know what I'm saying? Because they'll automatically now just message these people. But I was really just shocked that the person was there for 10 minutes. So then I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm talking about praying over this blog and seeing if it can get an increase or something. But that increased me because it made me feel loved that someone would sit there on a page for 10 minutes. So they obviously was reading something on there. And so I started saying, like, you know what, maybe God don't want me to quit Marquela the Life Speaker. Even though it's so tough right now, there's really no excuse why I would quit this. You know, and I know me, I'm not going to lie. When I feel like it's interfering in the way I parent, I quit. And that's why I'm only working the weekends, because it's easier for me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to worry about the school calling me. I don't have to worry about this and that. And so that's why I quit the full-time job that I had, because I said, you know, well, it's interfering with the way I'm parenting. You know, my daughter's getting suspended, the school's calling me and all this. And then when I was on here, the school was calling me. But then I said, if you quit Marquela the Life Speaker, whose soul can you help? There's no excuse on this. I mean, you literally just came out the business. You need to stop worrying about what you're not making versus the determination of what you have done on here. I mean, there's really no excuse for why you would want to quit this. I mean, first off, you got to think about it. You've been on here for a while and you just started out. It's not going to interfere with the way you're parenting, because you can video at any time and you can type and blog at any time. So then it was like, I had no excuse. I was trying to think of ways for me to make another excuse. But then I said, no. If you're going to give up on Marquela the Life Speaker, you're giving up on yourself. Because there's people on your page, on your blog page, and they're reading your stuff. So at the end of the day, you might not feel like you're helping anyone. But if someone's sitting on your page for 10 minutes, who else can sit on your page? And who else can do something off of your stories? You don't even know what you can do to help someone. So you saying you want to give up, that's you. And I started really just kind of thinking to myself, like, I remember Tuesday when I was in church. And the pastor was talking about business. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I told him, and I raised my hand and I said, you know, honestly, I just don't feel like I would even be able to even do a business that I really wanted to do. Well, no, I didn't even say that. I just said I usually just let things go because it's always something happening to the family. So I don't even, you know, I just feel like I don't know what to do in regards of it. So because of the family issues, I always put myself in the middle of things, and my work ain't done. And so I started telling myself, like, no, you still need to be strong. You still deserve to live. And you did live. Because why you want to be dead trying to help everybody else live? You didn't go to school to be a doctor. You are a human being. And you are not God. So if you're dying trying to help everybody live, and you're not living, you're dying as well. That is very unhealthy. And so I told myself, what have you done for yourself this year? And I said, Marquela the Life Speaker is probably like the hugest business that I ever created in my whole entire city, in my whole entire life. You know, me wanting to really get on camera and tell these people about my life or tell them about how I want to live it. This is probably the biggest position I ever did in my entire life. And so as I'm interviewing myself, I said, what can you do to increase yourself so that your kids will increase their self as well? And I said, maybe continue to get involved in what I'm doing and not giving up. So even though it's kind of hard right now, take a little break, but still continue to keep going. And so I told myself, I'm going to still live my life. And Marquela the Life Speaker, it had to be a reason why I did it. Because all my life, I was told to shut up. And I couldn't talk. But I started to realize every time I talked, I was getting blessed. People were hugging me. My rent just went low. You know what I'm saying? They downed my rent. You know, they put my rent down. And I didn't even talk. You know, and that's what I'm saying. When R. Kelly said, sometimes silence can be so loud, he was right. Because when you are praying and when you're writing, and even though you didn't see nothing coming, but you just kept writing, you kept praying, you isolated yourself. So many people were so angry with you because you didn't want to be around nobody. It was so hard for them to drag me out my house. I would not move. I wouldn't. Because I was still in grief. I was still in grief. I was still in a dark area. Even though I went to counseling, even though I went to college, even though I had all these gorgeous things, I was still hurt during the process. But see, God was so good to me. He was so good to me. Because as I was walking down, He was making sure I go back up there. And when I come in that office and she tells me, your rent went low, there's no way. But God made a way. He always had been making a way for me, and I saw Him. And so I cannot give myself credit and say it's all of me, because I was not alone. God had made ways. I saw Him move in my life to where I had to live my life. I couldn't sit in this grief. I couldn't get mad at my family for treating me poorly. I couldn't hate them because there was no way. I could only do is forgive them. Forgive them because they had to take care of themselves. And even though I felt so neglected, like they were just judging me because of my kids, I could not get mad at them. I was mad at them. They made me mad. I was mad. I was mad at my mom. Mad at the whole family. I felt like they left me to struggle because of what they believed. I was so mad at them. So, because I was mad, I isolated myself. I closed myself in. And then I started to see my daughter do the same thing that I was doing. And she was taking it out on adults. And when I let her go yesterday, I began to realize, baby girl, when you come in that office and she said, maybe it's you, maybe you're still angry about something. And maybe that's why you're letting everybody and you're telling everybody to leave you alone. And it's true. I was so angry with my family. Angry. Just so angry. But I couldn't do anything. So what did I do? I shut everyone off. Everyone. I put a whole blockage. A whole blockage. And I said, leave me all alone. And some of them, they knew something was wrong with me. So where even though they knew there was a wall on there, they weren't scared. They were coming over that wall. And they're like, we're going to go on this walk with you. We're going to go on this walk with you. What you talking about? So some of them were that type. I had some G's in my life. To where even when I blocked out my friends, I didn't want to deal with them. Oh, they still was going to call me. They was still going to call me. And they knew I wasn't answering. Some of them was like, I'm going to knock on your door if you do not answer this phone. So it was the point to where, even though I was angry, guys, and I had this block up from everybody, no one couldn't reach me. It was scary to some because they didn't know what was going on. They just knew. They went to Marquetta the light speaker and they're like, wait a minute. She got a whole block up here. We can't even reach her. What is going on? And it was so funny because during this huge block, there was men trying to talk to me. There was guys just trying to flirt with me. It just didn't interest me. You know, guys coming to try to talk to you. In your inbox talking about, hey, sexy. One of them said, do you need some love? I'm like, what? Get out of here. So it was so many things. There was so many things going on during this blockage. It was. But to come into the office and the lady, she knew that I didn't want no love. I didn't want no one to hug me. I didn't want no one to touch me. I wanted everyone to leave me alone. But she wasn't scared either. She hugged me. She hugged me. So when I tell you Marquetta the light speaker is a therapy for those who think that she was perfect. And it was a therapy to help other people to know that I was on the ground. And every time I try to get down the ground, somebody's smacking me to get back up there because I was so faithful in my life. I was praying. I was writing. I was starting to read. Man, I know so many scriptures. I'm just laughing at it because back in the days, the only scripture that I knew was Luke 1:37. All things are possible. Without God, nothing shall be impossible. Luke 1:37. That's all I knew. That's all I knew. But I know so many scriptures. I know what God's told me. I have improved so much. And I couldn't be mad, but thankful, because I probably wouldn't be as strong as I am today. And even though I had a hard ship, I still made it. No one didn't let me just fall, even when I wanted to. I wanted to. I was like that currently I was. No one couldn't talk to me. I was okay with just talking to myself. And when people came and say, hey, let me talk to you, I didn't want no one to talk to me. And when they did, they're like, yeah, you still need some extra assistance. You know, it sounds like to me you're still going through it. You know, it's still going to take you some time. And they're like, you're just not acknowledging and accepting. You trying to just move on over. She said, because someone else told you to move on over, but you can't move on over from something that's hurting you, baby. They're like, And that's what you're trying to do for your kid. You're trying to have her move on over, I'm a mover, but that's not how it works. Because you have to take time and be patient. Patient is a virtue. If you are patient, things will work out. And so, in this, I just want to thank those who are visiting my page. I thank those who are I thank y'all for visiting me. It means a lot. I'm a very emotional person, and I remember in high school I used to get teased for it. But I think God gave me my tears for a reason. God gave me everything for a reason. And I'm crying because I just can't believe that people had been really actually on my blog. People had been actually on my videos and watching. There has been people who really heard me. And even though I thought that no one was listening to me, they were. And sometimes I used to feel like I couldn't be amount to nothing. I felt like I was a nobody. I felt like no one cared. But then when I'm seeing as my dad, walking out in the world without him, but I'm seeing a lot of people still, there's still love. I remember months ago when a guy came with two boxes of pizza and 3 free shirts. And it was so funny because it was something that I was eating and I didn't even want it. And they come in with boxes of pizza. It's like, I know the universe of God is real because there's no way that I could be sitting here talking to you guys about my life, about what I went through, about how I am, and be real with you and not lie to you and tell you what I'm going through. And even though it's hard for me to where I said I'm too emotional that I have to really, really, and people say maybe you need more counsel. And I just said, no, I'm going to try my best to do it alone. And every time I say I'm going to do it alone, God always sending people to make sure that I don't. He's sending other people to use their feet on my behalf. So even though I feel that I'm alone, I'm starting to see there's just no way that my rent went down low because there's no way that people would be visiting me. God has been with me my whole entire life. And even though what I was told, being disowned, or because I had my babies at a young age, I had to pay all these things and going through all these things, and I'm feeling like I'm worthless. God showed me that I belong on this earth. I deserve to live, and you deserve to live too. He showed me that. He showed me that. And that was the hardest thing. But God revealed it to me that, no, I didn't give you the breath of life for you to settle for less. I gave you the breath of life for you to be strong. And even if you think that you're going to be rolling in a house by yourself, that's not what you're finna do. I mean, I was walking down, my neighbor literally, she's always talking about my bottom parts because she sees my big old booty. So she's like always like, she's hilarious. She's like, girl, look at that jiggling back down. And so she's lifting me over there. She gives me a ride home. And she's like, did you check on that rent? And so my neighbor is just like, so sweet. And then I go walking down. One of the dudes is like, did you do that? Did you check on it? So all of them was getting on me as I'm foaming out the mouth. And I'm in dark cloud. But there's some people over here in this neighbor hood is going to make sure that I walk out with a smile. And even, when I came in and gave her the rent, she's like, you need to smile. And it was just so funny because she was like, you will not walk out here without a smile. And so I'm like, what in the world? That's why I don't like people. I'll be trying to get into my own self. But that's the problem. That is the problem with us. That we try to just do it all alone. And there's people here. What they can do, other people can't. Seriously. Stop trying to do things by yourself. Go for help. Go. And you'll see how much of a burden will be lifted off of you. Because just because you're a single individual, it does not mean that God didn't build other people to help during the time of what you're going through. Grieving has no type of dates on it. But during that time, seek help. Always seek help. And that's what God did to me today. Hallelujah. That's what he did to me today. He lowered down my rent. And then not only did he lower down my lift, he sent me my friend to just ride me down the street so I can go home a little bit more faster. And not only did that, he sent me down other people. He sent me down my cousin last week. He sent me down different people. And he know a particular person who's calling me. It's a bittersweet relationship. But it's going to be broken free one day. Because God's a good God. He really is. And he's going to make sure we all are delivered and set free away from bondage, away from guilt, away from all those things. Because when I said, I want to live, I want to live. I've been through so much. I don't want to die trying to live. No. I want to live. I want to live. So when I die, before I wake, everybody will see that Marquela just made a legacy. My baby will see that, oh, Mama, that's what Mama talked about on their YouTube channel? Oh, wow. She will see that I had all these videos up. She will see that I had a blog page for remembrance. I thought that was cool what I just did. I think it is really amazing that I took it up on myself to make a blog page and make a YouTube channel and really mean what I do. And I just need to relax and be patient. Because it was so funny, because when I came in there, I was like, that's funny. I was going to come in and talk to you. They told me to talk to you about the rent. And she was telling me, girl, still ain't that much. So she was like, I'm like, yeah, for you, look. But then she told me, she's like, we already dropped it down, though. And I was like, wow. It was dropped down a couple of dollars. And I was like, well, I already have it. So here. And it just made my day to know that I didn't have to stress as much as I did. Anything that drops down when you're worried about it, that means that God is not going to let you fall. I was just talking about it. But God was with me. I didn't have to say not a word. Because he was with me. He dropped it down. And that's all that matters. I worked with him. And he sees me. And he knows that I always beat up myself. Before, no one has to spank me. Because I'm already spoken myself. I feel so horrible about myself. I always had. I have very low self-esteem. And when things don't go as planned, I'm not who I am. I'm different. But Miracle in the background, you see her? She makes miracles happen for me. And she's been making miracles happen. She has. And it's so funny because Miracle is me. So me being Miracle, and Miracle just made it happen for me. After I went through what I went through the sinking water with my daughter, God was with me. He was with me. And that's good. It's really good. So, on today, I want to go ahead and read us redemption. Once you were dead because of your disobedience in your many sins. All of us used to live that way, following the passionate desires and inclinations of our sinful nature. By our very nature, we were subject to God's anger, just like everyone else. But God is so rich in mercy, and He loved us so much, that even though we were dead because of our sins, He gave us life when He raised Christ from the dead. Ephesians 2:1, 3, and 5. That's good. That's really good. So, in this, guys, thank you for really taking your time out of the day to watch Marquela the Live Speakers, because it means a lot to me just to see people visiting me. And I saw someone on my page for 10 minutes. And that really, really, really made me realize that God is bringing visitors. He's bringing angels. And so who's ever randomly going on that blog page, he's bringing them in. He's bringing them in. And it was so funny because I saw this person, and even though they didn't respond, but I saw this person and said that he was on there for 10 minutes. He or she, it still made me feel good inside to know that people are visiting me. It's like angels. Angel number 1 visit you. Look. Anyways, I thank you, visitors. I thank you, viewers. I thank you. You don't know how much it means to me for you to even click my video, to even really see that there's someone out there that cares. Because I was going to give up on Marquela the Live Speaker, to be honest with you. Because I remember when I seen so many depressed people out there, some of them were saying that I couldn't help them, I couldn't do this, I couldn't, and I always heard that my whole life. And some of them were having attitudes when I told them that I had a business. And so I just was about to quit again. Just quit. And say, you know what, ain't nobody want to do this anyways. Ain't nobody going to look at this. And I started getting mad. But then I said to myself, you better stop that and stay with Marquela the Live Speaker program and keep going. Just because all them people might not want to see, that's why you remove yourself off of Facebook and you find other people that want to see it. You know, and that's what I did. I got off of Facebook because I just feel like putting my stories over there, and I've been putting my stories on there. People taking it to out of context, they taking it to offense, and they're thinking that I'm trying to attack, but really this is stuff that I'm okay with telling. And sometimes when you post stuff on Facebook, people don't realize I'm okay with telling this. I actually want to tell this to you. If I wasn't okay with telling my personal business, I won't put it on there. And that's what a lot of people got to understand when you're posting stuff on Facebook. They're obviously okay with what they're posting. So let them post what they want to post, just like you. Let them be what they want to be, just like you. If you're going to push them up higher, how about you not put them down the stairs lower because they got a different comment than you do? Stop the competition and start loving and help. If you see that they are literally trying their best to go somewhere, how about you lift them up so they can get to where they want to go? Not where you see them at, but where they want to go. And see, for me, I always wanted to go on camera. I see myself on camera for so long. And like I said, when I was a baby, I think that's why I was into camera, because my dad had this video thing of me. I don't even know where it's at, but he had this video, back in the day it was VHR tapes, but he had it. And I was eating something, some food. And all I can remember when I was little, I was on camera. And I was always videoed. So then it became who I am now, today, to where I love to get on camera. I love to talk to people on camera. And I love to type and tell what I want to say. And I remember getting on Facebook, people would say, you need to get you a journal or something. You need not to post this on here. And it was so much. But that blog, oh my God, thank you, Jesus, for it. It feels like a free world. I'm free to say whatever I want to say. I feel like I already broken free. And even though I have my moments where I'm foaming at the mouth and then people come and trying to help me not, there's still joy in me. There's still a life in me. And that's why I said I'm living. Because when I die, I just left a whole legacy. I left a whole legacy. And it doesn't matter what anybody else feels about me or say about me. I'm not in control of that. But I am in control of my own life. It doesn't matter that I don't have any degrees. It does matter that I went to college. And it does matter that I created my own business right after. And even though it's not the way I expect it to be, but every time I want to give up on this thing, it's like, you just started. It's like something reminded me all the time in my mind that you just started last month. So it's like, if you just started this business last month, give it some time, a lot of time, so it can build up. Build your business first before you're trying to look for increase. You get what I'm saying? You got to build yourself up first before you're trying to build other people up. You have to build your building first before you're trying to build everybody else building up. And all this time, I've been building all these buildings, and they're gorgeous. But then my building is a hot mess. It's not where it should be. And that's not good. It's unhealthy. If you can build up all these buildings, you should be able to build up your own. If you can complement all these other buildings, you should be able to complement yourself. If you can make sure you can lift up all these buildings and make sure they're okay, you should be able to do that with yourself as well. Whatever you're doing for those people, you should be making sure you're doing that for yourself. Because you matter. You matter. And that's what I start to tell myself every day. Is that thank God that you are still alive. That you and your daughter are still alive. Y'all might have a mother, daughter, whatever going on. But at least you guys are still alive. And you got to keep going. And I think that's what God's telling me when I be foaming out the mouth every time. All right, you not control of a day. Did I just tell you that the day is its own day? Let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's go. And it's like a coach on my behalf. I don't ever see this man. I never seen him. I told you about that movie that she never seen this man and she got pregnant and everything. And it's like I never seen this man before. I never seen God in my entire life. But I'm starting to see things move in my life to where it's like, whoa, what a God universe is this? It's like, it is a universe. It's God's universe. And he will make it happen if you allow him to. It's only what you allow to happen. Thank you, Jesus, for all you done for me. From the blog page, from the YouTube channels, from the business cards. Thank you for allowing me to just build up my business. Then eventually, the increase will come. So I'm building up my business. Chapters 5, 4, and 8. Look, I be going ham on my little stuff. I be like, my life is a firebomb. Chapters 2, 3, and 8. And then my little baby, I always say my baby Kaylani. My baby Kaylani, that was my ex little boyfriend. That was his son, but I call her my baby Kaylani because I saw his daughter. And one day my daughters took her food and drinks and stuff like that, and she was upset. And so she said, "Why you do this to me?" So I always say, "Why you do this to me?" Kaylani, chapters 1, 5, and 8. I be going ham every day with my little storytelling stuff. I love it though. I love it because I made it who I am. You know, Marqueza the Life Speaker is every day. Like when I get off of here and I got a problem, chapters 1, 5, 8. Like I be going ham with all this. To be or not to be is a question. 31 and 20. Like all of my life I had to fight. Chapters 8 and 9. Look. Let me stop. Okay, well, in this, I did really have to fight all my life. Chapters 1, 2, and 3. You feel me? This is like a reality show. And I had to go through it. I had to. I had my wig falling off. I had all these things going on with me out here. And it was hard. It was hot out here for a G. But I made it through the wilderness. I made it through the fiery water. I made it through the sharks biting me. I made it through the fishes biting. Eat fishes ain't supposed to bite, but they was biting. It was different. I made it. You know, back in the days, I didn't have no babysitter. But now you gotta have it. Back in the day, she didn't have all them things. But now you gotta have it. You gotta have it. So you gotta build your business. In order to want a business, you got to build it. In order to want something to be better, you have to build it. And you have to ask God to build it and stop thinking that you have to build it alone because you don't have to. Know that God said, when he said he won't leave you nor forsake you, he won't. He didn't leave me today when he dropped down my rent. He didn't leave me when he dropped down my rent. He did not. That was God. He did not leave me. I came up in there and paid rent just to know that it dropped down. Anyway, Jesus is awesome. He knew I was foaming out the mouth. He knew I was going through my problems with my daughter. But he put the letter on the door to say, "Baby, I got a surprise for you. Your rent is low." Look. Drop it down a couple dollars, baby. Just a little bit, baby. A little bit change for you. I cannot play with Jack. Oh my God, I can't play with God. He's funny, but he did it. He did it. He really did. Because he knew I was crying. Oh, Lord, what I'm going to do? And even though it wasn't that much, because I received assistance, but it's like, still, you know, I like the assistance that I was seeing was real, real low. But see, God made it happen for me. He made it happen. I'm all right. And that's all that matters. Anyways, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to Marqueza the Life Speakers, where we help hear those hearts. I will definitely be back tomorrow, and we'll talk some more. Thank you for watching me so much. I really appreciate it, and thank you. Whoever's viewing all of these things, like the blog, somebody was on there for 10 minutes, you know, thank you. Thank you so much for reading my stuff. It means a lot to me. You know, I'm getting beaten up on myself, but I have to understand I just started the business last month. So I got to let it build it up and get some time and rest and know that's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And so I'm going to get this going. It's Marqueza Life Speaker. I ain't going to give up on her. I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on running. I'm going to keep on. And sometimes I be foaming out the mouth, but it really ain't no excuse. I mean, now I can't. You on YouTube and you got a blog. You can't make no excuses. They ain't. You can go whenever you want. You can YouTube wherever you want. You can blog wherever you want. So what is your excuse? Ain't. It ain't. So that's why I love what I do right now. You know, and then working on the weekends is really great too. Thank you though. Have a very great day. Blessings upon you.